If it's Monday, the U.S. assesses that nearly every Russian military unit that was amassed along the border is now inside Ukraine as Russian troops move closer to Kyiv amid a worsening humanitarian crisis. Plus, the latest in the U.S. response as the administration works on a deal to send fighter jets to Ukraine, and lawmakers push the White House for a ban on Russian oil amid soaring gas prices. And later, what's at stake for U.S. forces and U.S. national security amid this quickly expanding confrontation with Vladimir Putin. We'll dive into the dangers of modern warfare with the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Ahead. And welcome to Meet the Press Daily. I'm Kristen Welker in for Chuck Todd. Russia is ramping up its shelling of major Ukrainian cities. Thousands of civilians.
If it's Tuesday, President Biden announces a ban on Russian oil imports as the administration weighs how far it's willing to go to punish Putin and how far Putin might go in his response, with Russian forces still stalled outside Kyiv. Plus, the country's top national security officials testify before the House Intelligence Committee amid growing questions about the strength of Russia's military, cyber, and its nuclear capabilities. We're going to break it down with a member of the Intel Committee up ahead. And Zelensky pleads for more help from the West in an emotional address to British lawmakers, as 2 million Ukrainians have now been displaced by war. The damage to the country, $10 billion. We'll have a member of Ukraine's parliament live coming up. Good day. Welcome to Meet the Press Daily. I'm Chuck Todd. President Biden is ramping up his response to Russia, in some ways responding to. If it's Wednesday, a disastrous scene in Ukraine as Russia's relentless bombing continues, thwarting some civilian evacuations as millions continue to flee for their lives. The U.S. and NATO still tries to walk a fine line between aiding Ukraine and igniting an all-out war with Putin. Plus, a bipartisan show of force against Russian aggression. We'll speak with the chairman and ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee in their first joint interview since returning from the Ukrainian border over the weekend. And the consequences of war abroad beginning to be felt here at home as President Biden tells Americans to blame Russia for the spike in gas prices. Now, both parties are navigating a political environment now roiled by war. That's ahead. Welcome to Meet the Press Daily. I'm Chuck Todd. 2 weeks into Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the fighting is intensifying. If it's Thursday, as the U.S. grows increasingly concerned about how far Putin will go, talks between Russia and Ukraine fail to make any progress towards a ceasefire. We have an exclusive interview with Ukraine's foreign minister, who was in those talks ahead. Plus, Russian troops have had the southern city of Mariupol surrounded for days, trapping hundreds of thousands of civilians. We're going to speak with the city's deputy mayor as supplies there have run out, and they're laying victims to rest in mass graves. Plus, we've got a first-hand look at what Ukrainian soldiers and citizens are facing as they try to hold their ground against the Russian army, and we'll dig into where the Russian forces are and who is controlling what. That's ahead. Welcome to Meet the Press Daily. I'm Chuck Todd. As the war in Ukraine enters its third week, Russia is ramping up its shelling of key cities. If it's Friday, we are standing by for an update from the Pentagon this hour. U.S. officials warn that Russian troops are moving into position to surround Kyiv. President Biden announces more sanctions targeting Putin's inner circle and Russia's collapsing economy. All of this as Ukrainians continue to flee brutal attacks by Russian forces, indiscriminate bombing campaigns on civilian infrastructure, attacks now in the western part of the country amid new warnings by the U.S. ambassador to the UN that Russia is laying the groundwork for a possible chemical weapons attack. And what life is like for the millions who have fled and the millions who cannot. We'll speak with the mayor of Warsaw, which has emerged as a key city in Poland for hundreds of thousands of refugees. And we'll hear from a reporter from Kyiv about the human toll of this deadly conflict. Welcome to Meet the Press Daily. I'm Chuck Todd. We're about a half hour from the start of a Pentagon briefing on the war in Ukraine.